My name is Marlene. I am an artist of some 30 years working with copper and concrete. Let me take you on a journey and show you some of my creations. This was in my copper phase, where I did a lot that are all about the same era. This one here took me a full year to do from beginning to end, and that ties in with a lot of the others I did. When I love, I get a feeling like I'm traveling through the sky. On the wings of a nightingale, as I ride, my head's feeling, but I don't even wonder why. This is some more Egyptology that I was very interested early in the piece. Copper just seemed to lend very well to the pictures I did, because like back in Egypt, a lot of them were all made of gold, but of course these are all made from copper. I'd just like to talk about this copper chair that I've created. It's very painstakingly sculpted over 3 years, incorporating gemstones and crystals. And what it talks about in symbolism is the raising of the energy up the spine through the chakras and emanating out through the crown chakra. The base of the spine is black obsidian, which is a very earthing and grounding energy. It makes us feel safe. And then we go up through the different gemstones which depict different things, like the emotional side of the body, the fire of the combustion here, and then the heart chakra, left and right ventricle, up through the throat chakra, which is blue lace agate, and then the third eye, which is lapis lazuli, and up to the amethyst. And it's all grounded and earthed. This is the Nile River goddess. She's standing there, just her stance is saying, "I'm woman and I'm proud." She is thrusting her bottom out and her arms reach out to the heavens, saying just that, "I'm woman and I'm proud." So let's move on now to another one of my goddesses. This is another sculpture that I made, a small one of the Nile River goddess. Again, standing with her arms raised up above her head and her bottom thrust out. That's a sculpture from the original, which is in the museum in Cairo. The Nile River goddess was made out of Nile clay. And then behind her is a big goddess, the Venus of Lesbioug. And she was found in France. And the little one down beside her is the same size as the original. It was only 6 inches high. But I made the huge one just because it's made out of concrete and I want to do big. This is Morgan Le Fay, and she comes from the era of King Arthur and Merlin. How I did her was I did a copper picture first of all, and when that was completed, I flipped it over and poured it full of plaster of Paris, waited for that to set, and then flicked it out and then coloured it up. It was quite time consuming, but she came out rather well, I think. The Inquisition lasted for over 500 years. This is a poem I made up about this time in history. It's a poem I called The Fall. To try to discover what went wrong with the plot, we have to search further and study a lot. Misogynist priests, they rewrote the script. They wrote lies about females and of shame to inflict. The feminine principle was once a great power, but due to their writings, they made it turn sour. Everyone believed it, brainwashed they were. They didn't have the courage of trouble to stir. They'd seen what had happened to others who did, the ones who demanded those untruths be rid. Enforcement, terror, murder and grief, the Bible's teachings, they stole joy like a thief. It's amazing and true, and I'll bet it's happened to you, how the Bible's been able to bind and stick us like glue. The misogynist priests tell us page after page of sin and of death and of paying the wage. Try to get past it if you believe what's been said. From beginning to end it tells us we deserve to be dead. Even in death it quite clearly states it's hellfire and brimstone for you and your mates. The feminine principle is powerful and kind. Female and male with love it does bind. There's no need for violence, bloodshed or hate. When things fall from balance, it needs only to wait. Nothing is forced, there's ebb and there's flow. No need at all for worry and woe. What stopped this simplicity of living, you ask? Look back in history. Trying to uncover it will be quite a task. Religious book burnings destroyed quite a lot. All ancient wisdoms they tried hard to blot. The Inquisition was the cause of it all, that time in history when the Bible and its teachings led to the fall of feminine power, when women were burnt on the stake by the hour. They were tortured at first and cursed by the church. The misogynist priests could quench their cruel thirst. The torture devices were varied and crude. The women, when tortured, were watched and were viewed. Crying for mercy was a waste of breath. No matter what, you went to your death. The fact that you were female, beautiful, ugly, or neither, the stake would await to take you up to the ether. They had great success with this final solution of their fate. All females were under no delusion. The corruption of the church dealt also with wealth. The woman's possessions, money from the sale of the house, made its way to the church coffers. Too bad if it rightfully belonged to others. 9 million men, women and children, mainly women, suffered this plight. On the whole of humanity, the church caused a great blight. So now you know why. Even now we are held in the grip of a fear when we hear the word God spoke aloud. In the name of the Father and of God, it was said, is why all those proud women are dead. Fear was the fuel, and it worked very well, the time when the feminine principle fell. This is a little goddess garden I made with a lot of bits and bobs that I've made over time. And yeah, it's a joy just to walk around and remember all the things I made. Right, this is an extension of the goddess garden. The main Venus we have here is a Venus of Lucelle, and she's a replica of a carving from one of the caves in France, the Lucelle caves. And the triple spiral that you're seeing there, that stands for life, death and rebirth. And then we have the snake goddess down the end there, and again a Venus of Willendorf up on a pedestal. And that's about it for now.